Hi, Guy. Welcome to the Gruesome Gazette. Nice to have you here. I'm Mike
Thank you very much for
Cleopatra.
having me.
We're thrilled to have you here. This is our very first inaugural interview. So, thanks for coming in and taking the time to be with us.
Oh, an absolute pleasure. I can't believe I'm the first. I feel like it's an honor.
Before we begin, I would like to give a special thank you to Unearthed Films, who is distributing this new film of yours titled The Sound of Summer. They've been gracious enough to send us a screener link so we could preview and review the film before its official release this week. And yeah, man, we're all really excited for that. So we'll just start from the beginning. Tell us about yourself. What's your background like? Things like that.
All right. Sure. Yeah. My background, I guess, relative to this conversation, at least, is I started doing YouTube videos couldn't even tell you when, over 10, 15 years ago, maybe. I really should have figured out my numbers before starting this. Yeah, I started off doing like YouTube videos, just like showcasing underground gore films and things, and like obscure Japanese horror films, and got somewhat of a following through that. And because I had some sort of a following, I thought, I'm going to try and make a film similar to ones that I'm, spending my free time talking about. And with that, I made a short film called The Road Maiden, which was the first film I made. That was in 2000. We shot in 2012.
Okay.
So quite a while. Yeah. So it's 10 years old today. My first film. Not today.
That's awesome,
year,
man.
But, yeah. Mad how time flies. But yeah, I did that. Then didn't do anything for a long time. I moved to Japan, where I am here now still. In 2016, made a couple of short films, including Difficulty Breathing. And then finally just got my first feature film released, which I was filming about two years ago. And yeah, here we are now. Just got released yesterday. So
yeah,
like
so this is your
10-year
debut?
cycle has, feature debut.
Damn, dude,
10-year cycle
congratulations.
from my first short to my first feature.
It's
been
weird
a
how
long
this
old
stuff
10
works.
years.
Yeah, dude, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Good for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So then, going far with that background stuff, like who are some of your favorite directors or your favorite films, either growing up or even just more recently? Like, what's the stuff that really stuck with you?
It's probably the one that most people say, but I absolutely adore John Carpenter's The Thing. That was a huge one growing up for me. I don't know if it had like a big influence in my filmmaking, but it's just one that I absolutely love and can happily watch any day of the week. Love that. Possession by Jalowski.
Oh my Lord, I love that one.
Her performance in that is just absolutely harrowing.
Oh, dude, Isabella Johnny is like a scream queen for the ages. Like, I know she really didn't do much more beyond that, but it's memorable for sure.
Yeah. And then, of course, I love the Japanese cyberpunk stuff, Tetsuo, Kurishojin's like Pinocchio 964, Rubber's Lover, all that kind of stuff, as well as the kind of splattery stuff. Yeah. I grew up watching really like cheap, shitty B movies. I absolutely love the Leprechaun series with Warwick Davis in it. Love that stuff. Yeah.
Classics.
It's pretty vast and wide types of films, but
that's a good way to be though, because then you get like a bit of everything. It's not like you're just stuck with like one subgenre that you're really like all about, like you can take little bits from everything. And I feel like that's what helps make somebody like yourself like a more rounded director. So I think that's a good thing to have.
So. I hope so. Yeah. I mean, I think like back in, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so, I was just primarily watching just horror. I watch horror movies all day, every day. And that's all well and good. But doing that for so long, you kind of, well, at least in my case, started to want different kinds of films, like I wanted to watch more kind of like comedies now, so just and learning how to enjoy the other genres after just focusing primarily on horror for so long, I guess, yeah, like you said, it kind of opens up your perspective a lot, which was definitely good.
Yeah, excellent. Do you have any personal recommendations you'd like to give? Like, I know you already mentioned like The Thing in Possession, but anything like even just recently that like just you've recently seen that just you can't seem to get out of your mind?
I tell you what, the best recently made film that I've seen recently is it's called the Wolf House, I believe it is. It's a Spanish film, and it's entirely like stop motion animation.
Oh, okay.
and
I think
it's
I
the
bought that on Vudu and it's like ready for me
oh
to
yeah.
watch. Yeah, because I saw like the animation and people were talking about just like how strange it is. So I've been ready for
Mm.
that, but I don't think I've had like the right mind state for it yet.
Oh, it is the most like nightmare inducing thing ever. It's like if you like Jan Schwankmeyer type animation, it's perfect. But it's very crude. It's not a nicely made animation. Like you can see all
Hmm.
like the strings and the tape that's holding all like the puppets together, but that really adds to the griminess and dirtiness of it. And yeah, The Wolf House, I watched that recently, blew my mind, watched it twice in a row, and it's just coming out in theaters in Japan now. So I'm going to go to the cinema and watch it again.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'll have to
it's
check that
fucking
out this
great.
weekend then just
Mm.
for you.
Oh yeah, think of me whilst you're watching
Oh, I
it.
will. All right, so then let's move on to the actual film itself. Then, where did the idea for
Hmm.
the story come from?
Um, so if you don't know, I'm from England, which is a relatively cold country, and I moved to Japan in 2016. And my first summer in Japan was a fucking nightmare. It is the most like intense heat and like extremely high levels of what's the word? Oh, got the fucking
Just
Japanese word
like
on my head.
humidity kind of thing, like just
Humidity,
muggy.
humidity. Yeah, very, very humid, extremely hot, like 40-degree weather. And the summers are long, 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 long. So I was getting heat stroke. I was losing my appetite. My
Oof.
food was like rotting in front of my face. It's like nothing I'd ever experienced before. And it was completely alien to me. But the most like insane thing, the thing that I really kind of took away from that summer was the cicadas, because we don't have cicadas in England, and I'd never seen a cicada in my life. I never heard a cicada, and just one day, all I could hear was this intense screaming from these like bugs, and I thought, what the fuck is that noise? And I never heard it in my life. And so anyway, I was going to work and I walked past this park. You can hear it for miles. They're all like singing unison, and it is deafening, absolutely deafening. I saw these big fucking cicadas, like this big,
Oof.
and it was just mind blowing. I thought, what the fuck is that? And I think with the intense heat and the humidity, and then just this like constant screaming, this like natural noise, if you will, that just like went on for months and months. I thought, this is the perfect setting for a horror film, and that was the basis of The Sound of Summer. It's essentially based on my own thoughts and feelings towards the summer and how being in the summer in Japan might drive you nuts.
Mm. No, you could definitely feel that, just like the way that she's just going about her every day, and it just seems like it just more and more. It just something just seems to be just wrong about the whole thing. Because like you
Mm,
said, like the music they make is it's beautiful, but I feel like after a
mm.
while it just become like haunting almost because it almost just sounds like electricity, just like existing almost.
That's funny you say that, because the first time I heard that, I thought one of like the power lines were broken or something, because it does sound very electronic. It's like that. So I was looking around, looking up, seeing if there are any power lines or like there's sparks flying out of them as the bloody bugs. Yeah, it's pretty intense.
So when you went to like approach actually making this, then did you have any like real influences and like how you were gonna take it? Because when I watched it, it felt a lot like William Friedkin's Bug. It felt like that mixed with like Higurashi kind of thing. Because it was
Oh,
just a lot of just like
mm,
they're like
mm,
emerging almost out of nowhere. They don't really know what's going on, and then the paranoia just makes it all worse and worse. So it's just that's
mm.
how I felt. But like, did you have any actual influences on like at least the direction you were gonna go?
Um, I feel bad for saying that, but I've not actually seen either of those films that you mentioned.
Oh, that's fair.
Um, in terms of like, I mean, thematically they sound pretty similar, so I will have to check them out. So you said Bug, and what was the other one?
Higurashi. It's an anime. One of my friends was recently telling me about it. I think it's like a
Okay.
5-part series. It's like a longer
Ooh,
title, but Higurashi is like the main of it. But like she was sending me
okay.
just some screenshots and quick vids, and it's just like literally like they're scratching at their necks and just like worms and
Yeah.
bugs are like emerging from it kind of thing. And
That sounds great. Yeah, sounds pretty similar.
it seems like it was something like you'd be almost on the same wavelength of. So
Hmm. Yeah. I think. I mean, when I went into making this film, it was kind of coming off the back of making Difficulty Breathing, which explored similar kind of themes. And for me, this film is somewhat of a sequel to Difficulty Breathing,
Okay.
happening in the same universe, if you will. And so this film was more just trying to kind of like hone in my style that I started to explore with my previous film. And I think because it is kind of somewhat based on my own experiences and thoughts, it's more, I don't know, I guess it's just my story I wanted to tell rather than something that I was, that I found somewhere else and was kind of influenced from. Stylistically, I mean, like I said, I love Possession. I love Fukui Shojin's movies, all of which have female leads just going fucking nuts. So I'm sure there is an influence in there somewhere. But
Okay, so nothing like real direct, really just kind of like a vibe you almost picked up and you were just like, I just want to own that. I like
sure.
that. I think that feels really wholesome. It definitely feels like more of like you coming out instead of you trying to like be an imitator kind of thing. I think you can definitely tell that when you watch it because it doesn't really feel like anything else. It just like I said, it has vibes of things, but you know, it feels like a whole original product. So, you know, I give you a
Thank you very
congrats on
much.
that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so you told us a story about like where the idea came from, but was there like a bigger story or theme you wanted to investigate? Like, was there like something like in the core of it almost that you were like trying to make like metaphors of, or like just you really just wanted to hone on, or did you just want to see this character just take this idea and just like go for it?
That's an interesting question. I don't know how I can answer it very well, but there's I guess thematically, and in a similar vein with Difficulty Breathing, I had kind of picked a sickness, a mental sickness as the basis, I guess, if you will. So with Difficulty Breathing, it was very lightly based on symptoms of depression and anxiety. So I kind of researched a lot of the symptoms that would come with those diseases, sicknesses, and incorporate them into the narrative I was trying to tell. And with this film, I was really interested in the delusional parasitosis is the term that people use. People believe they got bugs in their body and they try to get them out, and I thought, that just coincided so well with the theme I was trying to tell, the story I was trying to tell with the summer and the bugs and everything. So I incorporated a lot of that. I did a lot of research on this delusional parasitosis idea. So I think the two, kind of the two of them together, if you will, like the story I was trying to tell, and then like taking some liberties from this real thing that is also happening, but not trying to like not being the sole thing, because I didn't want to like misrepresent a sickness that people actually have. It's kind of something that I borrowed from, if you will. And I don't know if that answers your question at all.
No, it does, man, because it seems like almost like a as within, so without kind of thing, where it's like she's surrounded by the bugs, they're almost overwhelming with their just them being there, and then she thinks they're in her kind of thing too. So it's that makes total sense.
Oh, that's great, because I tend to ramble a lot.
No, it's all good, man. All right, so we'll keep going on with kind of the production of it, but we'll go into more of the physical part of it. So tell us about your team. I know you did a large portion of the heavy lifting yourself, which is impressive, by the way. Like I know that you wrote, directed. I'm pretty sure you edited it.
Yep.
So tell us about your team. Was this the same girl that you did Difficulty Breathing with? That was the star?
No, it's a different girl. So the main in The Sound of Summer is a girl I casted for this. She applied for the role. Originally, I did actually have the Difficulty Breathing girl set to do this role, but she had some things that she couldn't get out with, and she wasn't going to be available for a couple of years. So I had to kind of recast, and that's where I found Cowdy, the main girl from The Sound of Summer. And actually, apart from Cowdy, everyone else in this film, the main cast at least, are all just my friends, who live close by, and we hang out on the regular. So it is kind of the same as all my previous films. Just call up your mates, be like, we're gonna do this, come down, and then we just shoot it. It's kind of just gathering your friends on the weekend kind of thing. Cowdy, the main character, was the only one who kind of came from outside our circle. Okay. Then yeah, Dave Jackson, director of Catsick Blues. He's another foreigner living in Osaka who I'm friends with. And I asked him to help me out a couple of days. So he did some camera work on a couple of the days with me. And then, yeah, I hired a Osaka special effects team to do the prosthetics and whatnot, and the blood and all that stuff. And then my music guy is Microchip Terror, who did the score. Phenomenal job with that.
It's definitely haunting. It's very haunting.
Yeah, we worked together very, very tightly, over the internet. But yeah, he absolutely nailed that score. So that's kind of the crew. It's very small. I mean, I have no like assistant director. I have no production assistants. I have no cameraman apart from Dave on 2 of the days. No lighting people. No one. It's
you definitely pulled it off well.
Me on my own doing as much as possible. So like, I was liaising with the location, the studios, and liaising with special effects people, and doing all the continuity, like getting the clothes, and then I pretty much shot the entire thing. Doing the lights, with one free hand, whilst the camera in the other hand. It was it was not fun. I thought like I need another pair of hands, definitely.
But at least you got to see what you were capable of, especially like with everything being such a homegrown kind of operation you had. So like I said, man, it's impressive, definitely.
Thank you. Luckily, like, as I said before, the majority of the cast are just friends. So everyone was ready to help out whenever, needed to be. So even if like they weren't in the scene or the shot, even if they weren't there on the day, they might, roll up and be like, do you need any help? Or da, 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 da. So everyone was doing something else, Han-san, the cicada man guy, he was buying us lunch boxes and stuff, like lunch for the other cast members when he wasn't needed. He was, doing all sorts of stuff. So it was a very like, tightly knit kind of community, like everyone kind of coming together to help, which was really, really beautiful, because it was just something that I wanted to do, really.
Yeah, and they believed in you, that's beautiful in itself, that you had friends that actually just wanted to see what you wanted to do and just help make it come out into this world, like that's really cool.
Yeah, I was very lucky to have those people around me.
How long of a process was it from start to finish? Like as far as like filming it, editing it, all that stuff, how long did it really take you?
Well, I initially came up with the idea, like I wanted to make this film about the summer and the horrors of the summer in 2018. And I very slowly was kind of like chipping away at the script and adding more details. And it was always something in the back of my mind, but nothing that I really like actively pursued, like put my full time and effort into until like quite a little bit later. And I think I started writing the script in 2019 after like accumulating all these ideas, and I think like I've got enough to actually build something from. And then then there was just like a year of shit after that, because I couldn't live in Japan anymore. I lost my visa for some dog shit reason. I had to go back to England, kept going back and forth to, from between England and Japan's and the immigration system. I eventually got back to Japan, and I was like, fuck, now I can make that movie that I've been working on. And the pandemic hit. So it was delayed for another year.
Jeez.
And obviously I can only shoot in the summer. So, it's a very short window that I could actually film in, So delayed another year. Anyway, eventually we shot it in 2021.
Okay, so this was basically like a year, up to 2 years tops kind of thing, with a lot of hiccups along the way.
Basically, well, we shot it in 2021. It was a 10-day shoot, roughly, give or take.
Oh, wow.
Then, yeah. Then I spent a year, pretty much an entire year editing it.
Damn. Okay.
and I premiered it in Osaka in 2022 in August. Yeah, and I just made the premiere date by like a few days. So
And
it was a very, very tight schedule.
seems like you definitely pulled it off, though. It doesn't feel like it's been constrained that well. So I think you did it.
Thank you very much. But yeah, it's a long old project, you know, from like concept to finish, and now like release. It's been 4 years easily, so it's a long time for just a you know, personal project.
How does it feel to finally have it out in the world?
Pretty bloody good. Like I'm glad it's finally out there. Yeah. I don't know if you know, but like everything that I've released prior to this, or sorry, made prior to this, I've just self-distributed.
Mm-hmm.
Bar a couple of like micro label things that I've done here and there, and people have released it on like VHS or a limited release or something. But pretty much everything I've just self-released. So to have like something I've made actually be picked up by a actual DVD label, and then have it, you know, out in shops, actually lined up in shops, you know, on shelves. That's a pretty awesome feeling. Yeah, I feel like I've finally achieved something.
Oh, you
Somewhere,
definitely
you know?
did, man. You definitely did. Speaking of which, then that brings me to the next question. So since this opportunity was given us by Unearthed Films and the team over there, tell us about how you ended up working with them.
I mean, I've known of Unearthed Films for fucking ever, you know. I think I watched the guinea pig films when I was way too young. I think I was like 14 or something, and so they've been on my radar for a long time. And Unearthed Films has introduced me to so many of my favorite films, like, you know, Rubber's Lava and Pinocchio, and more recently, you know, they put out The Untold Story and Dr. Lamb. But they've always just been that film label that I've kind of associated with these fucking nuts and really kind of influential films that I've loved watching growing up. They've introduced me to loads of films, and I've always just kind of, as far as like I've been on Facebook and before that MySpace, you know, you know, Stephen Byer has always been on my friends list. You know, we've had plenty of back and forths over the years, and you know, he's sent me things, I've sent him things. I think when he released his dead baby cookbook book, that I don't know if you're aware that he made it.
No,
I think it's like
I'm
a dead
unfamiliar
baby
with that.
joke book or something, but it's a joke book or a cookbook. I can't remember which one, but it got featured in a magazine in England, and he was just like, "Can anyone buy this and send it to me?" And so, you know, we've just known each other for a while. You know, I've never met the guy in person, but he I think he got in contact when I was saying I'm making a feature film, and he said, you know, just keep me involved. Let me know how it turns out. Send it over when it's done. If I can release it, if it's any good, I'll release it. If it doesn't fit, at least I'll give you some good advice so you don't get fucked over by some other distributors. So, you know, win-win either way. And anyway, so I finished it, sent it over, and he was just like, yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. Let's do it. So yeah, he's just one of those guys who's kind of been seemingly around on my radar for the last 15, 20 years.
Little did you know that he was going to do everything he could to try and like push your career into the next level for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite taken back by how far and wide this has spread already.
Yeah, I see a lot of people giving it good reviews on Letterboxd. I see a lot of people on Facebook sharing it around. So it's really cool to just see like the different demographics it's even reaching at this point. So they're definitely doing a great job with what they're doing.
Oh, 100%. And you know, like as I said before, I released everything myself up until this point. So there's always that thought in the back of my mind: should I also self-release this one? But now that I've seen the benefits, if you will, you know, yeah, it's an absolute no-brainer. Definitely the right choice to go with them.
No, that's awesome. And especially to have just your title along the catalog of all the other, like, just, you know, like impactful things they have, like August Underground coming out soon. Like they did a Serbian film, the beautiful release of that. So, you know, like it's cool just to be able to like have your project, like just alongside titles like that. Like that in itself, I think, is really, really cool.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah, I'm just kind of really psyched that it's going to be in actual physical stores, you know?
Yeah, no, like
That's
I really
wild.
can't wait to just see it, like just out in the wild or like at conventions, just sitting at booths and tables.
Oh yeah, shit, conventions as well. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's very like surreal to me.
Oh, I bet. All right, well, I only got a couple more for you, because I don't really know what we're at for time, so I'm trying not to hold you too long.
No
But
worries. I think yeah, a little thingy will pop up when we're at the 10-minute mark.
oh, okay, well that helps.
Yeah, I
But
have to fucking use Zoom all the time for work, so yeah.
yeah, no, this is my first try. I didn't even know I had an account until I tried to turn this on. So
Oh,
we're learning things
savvy.
today. But
Ah.
my partner was really interested. He wants to know about how the cicadas went down. Like, how did you direct the cicadas? Like, were most of them like actual like just living creatures? Were most of them like almost like taxidermy, so you could move them?
Mm. Um, so there was essentially three types of cicadas on set, if you will. So we had I had dead cicadas because they have a very short lifespan. So if you walk through the street in the summer, the sides of the road are just littered with carcasses.
Ooh.
You know, until the bin men come and like sweep them up. They're fucking everywhere. So I needed them for some scenes, so I had to, as grim as it is, pick up
Yeah,
these dead cicadas, take them home, that kind of stuff.
yeah, man, you're an artist. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, fucking hell. You know what? Going on a bit of a tangent, but when I was like towards the end of the shoot, I was like, I need to get some pickups, just like just for some pickup shots, and I, for the life of me, couldn't find any. So I was searching for these fucking dead cicadas. So dumb. Then the other thing we had, the special effects artist, he took the shell, the nymph shells that they kind of grow out of, and he attached some fake wings and painted them to look like cicadas. So we had these kind of like handmade, half real, half not real prop cicadas.
Okay.
And then we had live cicadas as well. And the live cicadas, again, I don't have a crew. So before we would go out filming, I would have to go and catch these fucking cicadas. go to the park with a bloody net. And just to put it into perspective, like the cicada catching thing, it is a thing in Japan. It's not a thing that adults do. It's a thing that like young boys do.
Like what you portray in the film.
Yeah. And so, you go to the park and you see all these little kids and they have their little nets and their little boxes. And then there was just me with this fucking net. I'm just like, yeah, I'm also catchers. Don't mind me. And all the bloody parents looking at me like, fucking, oh, this foreigner, he also likes them, doesn't he? So we had to do that. But yeah, the live cicada stuff, it was a very, very shortly lived time span because they got a short lifespan anyway, so I didn't want to keep them and waste a quarter of their life with like a film shoot. So it was literally, we would go right out before shooting, quickly grab them, take a shot, send them off on their way.
Okay. Because I remember like near the climax of it, they're just like emerging from like the like wallpaper kind of thing, just like the white background. Like, how did you like make that happen? Was that just kind of like something just cleverly done, like a magic trick as far as filming goes, or like was there an actual process to it?
The main actress, her friend is, I don't know what the term is, but he raises bugs, and we just got the 10-minute mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, he raises bugs. He actually brought a load over. He grows them. I don't know what the term is. He raises them. He brought a load over. So we actually had like insect handlers for one of the days to help us out with that kind of stuff. Because I don't fucking know what I'm doing. I don't want to like damage their wings or something. So I tried to try to not really be very hands-on with the insects. But that whole like coming out of the belly and then through the paper screens, like I made that paper screen, and just prop belly. So it was just a case of like picking one up. You can pick them up really easily. They don't care, and then just pop them through a hole and pop them through, and then they'll fly away. So it's quite simply done.
They're just like, oh, this is fine. They're like, I guess I'm just here now.
Yeah, they don't really seem to care regardless.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So I don't know how spoilery you want to get, because I know the film is kind of fresh for most people at this point. But I was very curious about the ending, so to speak, because you have the real big centerpiece in the middle where like she's actively trying to figure out what's going on with her, and then there's the whole big bathroom scene, which was beautifully done, by the way, for how grim it gets. I was really actually like intrigued with how like artistic you almost made it instead of making it like exploitive kind of thing. So kudos to that. But as far as like what happens after, when you get like the last like 10 or 15 minutes of the film where you have the cicada man's reemergence, so to speak, what what exactly were you just I'm trying to figure out just like what were you going for with that? Like, was there something you were trying to you just wanted to just see something happen, or like, was there something more you were trying to get at with that?
What I will say is that there is a meaning for everything that happens in this film. Everything can be kind of figured out or justified. I think, I heard a review saying it's just, weird for weird's sake. And that is not the case, because there is a meaning for everything that I put into this film. But even though I have my meaning, method, and the reason for everything, the ending is very much open to interpretation. And one of the things I really enjoyed after releasing this and screening this is that everyone has a different interpretation. And some of the times it's something that I had never even considered. Yet after reading someone's interpretation, I think, oh yeah, that is actually very applicable. So I don't know what to say. There is a meaning. I'm not going to say, because I don't want to.
You want to keep the mystique
black and white. Yeah.
No.
It's I think that's kind of part of the fun.
No, I can definitely appreciate that. And just as far as the whole like weird for weird's sake, I usually feel like that's a cop out for just like a critique who isn't imaginative enough to try to put meaning to it. Because like you can tell when a movie is trying to just be weird for weird's sake, but you don't watch a David Lynch movie and just be like, this is just weird to be weird. It's like, no, this guy's doing something. He's just not going to tell you what he's doing. Sure. No, so I totally feel that, man.
Thank you. But I really I wanted to go into like a fucking nightmare territory with this, and so
you definitely did.
Thank you. Yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun to make that final scene. Nightmare to shoot, but great fun going there.
Excellent. All right. So really, the last big question I got for you is just what's the future look like for you?
In terms of like, I don't know, I guess the films that are known by me, being Difficulty Breathing and Sound of Summer, which are very much like thematically similar. That is something I will continue, because I want to make a trilogy at some point. So Difficulty Breathing being the first, Sound of Summer being the second, and there will be another one that will follow, similar kinds of themes at some point. But I won't be doing that anytime soon. And I want to do something completely different for my next project. And I am writing a script for that at the moment. It'll be like nothing I've done before. It might just be something I will never do it again after that. It's just something that I just feel like it's kind of just, just light, something very surface level.
Okay.
So something you don't have to think about too much. I have to try and figure out. I don't have to, abuse the audience with noise. Just something which will be like really fucking gory, fucked up, lighthearted, surface level. I think like something which will just be fun and easy to make, fun to show, maybe kind of just whack on. You don't have to pay too much attention to.
Okay, so you've definitely got something ready, or at least something
Well,
that you're preparing.
Yeah. I'm preparing something. Yeah.
Good. That's
Yeah.
awesome,
And it
man.
won't take 4 years to make, which is the main thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, with a pandemic being in the rear view at this point, and with your visa and all that being cleared out, it sounds like hopefully from here on it should be a more easier path for you.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully no more pandemics in the near future.
No, definitely looking forward to anything you got coming out, man. You're definitely a very interesting voice in the, in a world of millions of options of films. It's nice to see something where like you just kind of get it when you watch it. And like, it's just, it just feels like you're like, yeah, this is its own thing. Like, it's hard to describe it to people. I tried describing it to one of my friends when she was asking like what I was checking out. And I was like, it's kind of like this, or it feels like this. And I was like, you know what, just watch this 5-minute segment. And she's just like, oh, okay. So yeah, man, no, I'm very excited for anything you got going on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kind words. It's very nice to hear.
Of course, man. So yeah, congratulations once again on this marvelous release. I'm very happy you were able to get a beautiful mainstream release of a film this creative and creepy. It's been getting a lot of positive feedback already, like we said. So I really can't wait to see what you have next for us. I think a lot of people are going to be pleasantly surprised at how fun and well done this film really is for being such a small homegrown operation.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens from here on, I guess. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Of course, man. Thank you for your time, and cheers to the future. I wish you well with everything you got going.
Thank you very much. It's been good talking to you, man.